Alright, and we are rolling. What's going on, everyone? I hope that you all are doing well out there, staying safe, and having a good one. Welcome to Clarence Loves Comics. I'm Clarence, and I love comics. I know it's been a while since y'all last saw me. I believe my last video was back in October of 2024. It is now February of 2025 as of the recording of this video. So I just wanted to say Happy New Year to you all. I hope that you all are having a good start to the new year, and whatever goals you weren't able to accomplish in 2024, hopefully you're able to accomplish them in 2025. Apologies for the absence. Just been extremely busy with school. We had our fall semester. Now we're currently in the spring semester, and so I've just been swamped with schoolwork. But luckily for me, I got some of that out the way, and so I had some time. So I figured, why not go ahead and get y'all a video. And for this video, because I'm looking over at them, it's going to be my haul video. This is going to be the haul for fall of 2024 / winter of 2025. So fall going into the winter, from fall last year, winter of this year. And I've got quite a few books here of different varieties. I've got some trades, got an absolute, and I've got some omnibuses. So we're gonna go ahead and start out the haul with the trades. So I've been trying to get more into some singles. Well, not necessarily singles, but more to ongoings, and DC and Marvel, and I think to a certain degree Image is doing a really good job of releasing like trades and hardcovers for some of their ongoings. And so I figured I'd go ahead and pick some up, and this would be my way of getting into some ongoings, since I really don't collect singles as much anymore. This is Batman Superman World's Finest. This is by Mark Waid and Dan Mora. This is volume 1, and then right here is volume 2. So you see them together. Yep, y'all see it right here. So this is volume 1, volume 2. And I heard a lot of great things about this particular series. I heard that it's really good. I hear that it's kind of a classic take on Batman Superman, and kind of like a, I don't know if I would say origin story per se, but kind of basically a classic take on this dynamic duo and two of the most iconic superheroes of all time. You have Mark Waid, who's writing this, and Mark Waid is a phenomenal writer. I've read a couple of his stories. In particular, I read his Black Widow and Fantastic Four, and end up loving both of those books. And so I figured I'd go ahead and give this a try and give this a shot. And flipping through it, seeing Dan Mora's art, he's definitely, I see why a lot of people are talking about him. I wasn't super familiar with Dan Mora beforehand, but in seeing some of his work in here, like I said, flipping through this, and then seeing his work on social media, because he's on like Twitter and Instagram and everything, I really see why a lot of people enjoy his work. And so I'm definitely happy to be checking out this series, and can't wait to read it. Another series that I'm excited for to be diving into. This is a character I fell in love with through their media, particularly through the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that is the Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff. This is Scarlet Witch by Steve Orlando. And so I got 2 volumes right here. So this is volume 1 right here. This is the first volume. And then this is volume 2. And this collects the first 10 issues of Scarlet Witch by Steve Orlando. This series began in 2023. And I believe they actually renumbered it, or they got a new ongoing. So I think this is the first half of that, and then they started over. And so now I think they started over from issue 1. I'm not sure what the current ongoing issue is, but I know that this is still ongoing. It's just a new series, but it's still written by Steve Orlando. So like I mentioned a few moments ago, Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch, is a character that I fell in love with through the MCU especially through WandaVision. That was one of my favorite. That was one of my favorite projects of the phase 4 of the MCU, and it's one of my favorite TV shows of all time. Grant, it's a mini series, but still, it's one of my favorites. I absolutely loved that show. And in that show, that's how I fell in love. Fell in love more so with the character of Scarlet Witch. And I want to try to get into as much Scarlet Witch as I can. And I heard that this was a pretty good series. And this has some artwork by Russell Dauterman. I believe this cover right here is by Russell Dauterman. And he's an artist that I really enjoy, and I love seeing his work. And I believe you get some interiors from him as well in this, although there's other artists in here like Sarah Pacelli, Russell Dauterman, and then other artists as well. And so I'm definitely looking forward to checking this out. Like I said, heard great things about it, and can't wait to dive into this. I might end up doing a review on this soon. This and Batman and Superman World's Finest. The next book that I have here is another trade paperback. However, this is a complete, what's called a complete collection, because this has the entire series, and it's a really thick trade paperback. And this is another character that I ended up falling in love with through the MCU. But this is Black Widow, and through the comics as well too, because I actually read some of this character in comics as well. This is Black Widow by Kelly Thompson, and this is the complete run, the complete series that happened in 2020, and this collects all 15 issues of this series, because this series only lasted 15 issues. There wasn't a 16th or 17th issue, unfortunately, but I heard a lot of great things about this series as well. I hear that this is one of Kelly Thompson's best works, and I hear that it's also a kind of an underrated gem in many ways, because it didn't last as long as maybe it could have, or a lot of people believe it should have lasted. But this is definitely a series I wanted to pick up in trades originally, in smaller trades. But when I heard that they were coming out with the complete collection, I said, let me go ahead and cop the complete collection instead. And that way I just get all 15 issues of this series in it. So like I said, this is a character I fell in love with through not only the MCU, but the comics as well. One of my favorite comics was Black Widow by Mark Waid and Chris Samnee, and I fell in love with that series. And Chris Samnee's artwork really popped with Mark Waid's writing. In this right here, you have the work of Kelly Thompson, and I think there's artists who a number of artists who kind of rotate, who do the artwork in this. But this is a book that's definitely on my radar to read. I'll probably read this pretty soon. And definitely looking forward to diving into this, because like I said, I heard a lot of great things about this particular series, and so definitely want to read it and see what it's about. Now, dived into the other collected editions. Right here is an Absolute. Now, this right here is a book I'm excited to have right here in the collection, because I've heard, for a number of reasons. Number one, I've never owned it. Number two, I've never read it, which is kind of embarrassing in a way, because this feels like a book everybody who's read comic books has read this series, especially if you enjoy this particular character. But I've never owned it, and I've never got the chance to read it. But I'm super excited to finally have it, because they finally reprinted the Absolute edition of this. Now, this is available in trades, deluxe editions, and of course the Absolute. They came out with an Absolute. They came out with a reprint of the Absolute last year, most likely for anticipation of the film that's coming out this year, and that is All-Star Superman. Absolute All-Star Superman, the new printing, or the 2024 edition. This is by the phenomenal, the well-respected and highly regarded Grant Morrison, and you have the artwork by Frank Quitely, And like I said, this is a book that I've heard nothing but great things about. Anytime I see somebody do a Superman where to read, or best place to start Superman, or the greatest Superman stories of all time, this book is always on that list. Unfortunately, like I said, I've never gotten a chance to read this book, but this is a series I want to read. Like I said, Grant Morrison is highly respected and highly recommended for their work on a number of different stories. I've read some of their work in the past, and particularly the Seven Soldiers of Victory. I read that many years ago and really enjoyed that. I think I might do a reread for that, for the channel, for the new channel, or this channel, or what have you. And this is just a run that everybody talks about and everybody says it's phenomenal. If you love Superman or you're interested in Superman, you have to read this series, you have to read this book. This is like a must-have for Superman fans and fans of DC Comics or just comic books in general. And also too, like I said, I'm sure a big reason why DC reprinted this book is because of the fact that this is such a highly regarded book. But on top of that too, you do have Superman, the new Superman movie by James Gunn, Superman 2025, that will be releasing later this year in July to be exact. And a huge portion, or a lot of the inspiration for Superman by James Gunn is in this. He took a lot of inspiration for his new film he got from All-Star Superman. And so, you know, in preparing for the movie, I figured why not go ahead and pick this up, and also too figured why not go ahead and finally own it in the collection. But yeah, this is one of those I'm definitely excited to read. I'll probably be reading this pretty soon, probably around the springtime, and get y'all a review for it. This haul. Just wanted to say, if you're enjoying this video so far and you like what you see, please do me a huge favor and hit that thumbs up button. It helps me out a lot. It lets you know that you all are enjoying that you enjoyed the video and you're also enjoying the content. Speaking of the content, if you enjoy what you see on the channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button. I'll try to be a little bit more consistent this year as far as posting videos. It just depends on the schedule and everything, but I will try to be a bit more consistent when it comes to getting videos for y'all. Alright, so the next books that's going to be on the haul that I'm going to be discussing, these are the Omnibuses. There's 4 in total, and these are all by Marvel. And the first book right here on the list is a book that I've been wanting for a while, and I'm happy that Marvel reprinted. I believe this was on the reprint poll a year or so ago, but it's finally here. And this is The Punisher Max to be exact, by Garth Ennis, Volume 1. And so this is a 2-volume set, and so this collects the first half of this, so the first 30 issues. And then this is a book that I'm happy to have in the collection, just because that I read a lot of I read the Punisher by Garth Ennis when it was under the Marvel Knights. I read that many years ago and really enjoyed it. Again, that's another book that I'll probably end up rereading probably in the coming future, but I really enjoyed that. And I heard a lot of people say that this run right here, the run that he did on the Marvel, they did under the Max series, under the Max line, was just as good, in some cases better than that one. But I hear that but because of that, I figured I'd go ahead and pick this one up. I enjoyed Garth Ennis. I enjoyed, like I said, his run on the Punisher when it was under the Marvel Knights run. The Max line, it was kind of, in a way, Marvel's, I guess you could say, answer to what DC was doing with Vertigo, where it allowed writers and creators to come up with more and create more mature and more graphic stories. And so for a character like the Punisher, this is perfect, because if you know anything about Frank Castle, and his stories, it can get pretty brutal and pretty graphic really quick. It could go from 0 to 100 real quick when Frank Castle's around. But like I said, I like the Punisher as a character. I enjoyed the comics I read. I've enjoyed most of the media he's been in. I really enjoyed the 2004 movie. I thought that was solid. The film in 2008, I forget the name. Warzone, the Punisher Warzone. That one was pretty good with Ray Stevenson. Rest in peace, Ray Stevenson. I enjoyed that. I don't know if it's necessarily the best movie, but I did enjoy it as far as entertainment go. They definitely nailed it on the maturity and the blood and the gore and all that good stuff. But my favorite, I would say, if we're talking about in media outside of comics, is the Punisher series that was on Netflix with John Bernthal portraying the Punisher. That's my favorite interpretation of the character in live action in media. And I know that they're coming out with Daredevil Born Again, and he's going to be reprising his role as Frank Castle in that series. And so I definitely am looking forward to that. Hopefully Marvel announces a new Punisher series as well, because that would be great. But anyway, Punisher by Garth Ennis, Under the Max line. I'm excited. Can't wait to read this, and looking forward to Volume 2. And I'll definitely do a read-through of Volume 1 and Volume 2. And like I said, this collects the first 30 issues of that series. I believe it's 63 issues in total. And this is the first half, and then Volume 2 collects the second half. This list is a two omnibus set. So a Volume 1 and a Volume 2. So I got these books actually from Cheap Graphic Novels. They had a Black Friday sale, and one of the books was on there. It was Volume 1 that was actually on sale for like 55% off, 50% off, 50 to 55% off. And they had a number of books in there that was like 50, 55, 60, 65% off. It just depended on what book it was. But this was on sale for like 50 to 55% off, I believe. And by the way, too, this isn't a sponsorship or anything. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm just telling you where I got these particular books from. I got these all from different places, but this one I know I got from the Black Friday sale over at Cheap Graphic Novels. And I'm definitely happy to have both of these in the collection, because this is a character I enjoyed when I read them in the Star Wars comics, Star Wars by Jason Aaron. And this is the Star Wars the Star Wars Dr. Aphra Omnibus. This is Volume 1. Right there. And then this is Volume 2. And then as you can see, there's definitely a difference in the amount of material that's collected in Volume 1 and Volume 2. So this is the older series by Kieron Gillian, and then the new series, this is the most recent one by Alyssa Wong. And so she wrote this series right here, and this is the series from 2020. And so this collects the original stuff from 2015 to 2016, or 2015 2016, or what have you, around that time frame. And then this is the latest series that came out. I'm showing you the side. This is the latest series from 2020. I'm not sure if this is ongoing or not. I'm not sure if this one's still ongoing, but I'm guessing it is still ongoing, because they just released a Volume 2, and so this is separate from this one. It's the same character, but it's a few years apart. And this collects the first 25 issues or so of it, the Volume 2 from the 2020 series. But I'm definitely happy to have these in the collection. Out of the Star Wars by Jason Aaron, well, particularly the Darth Vader series by Kieron Gillian, and she appeared in Star Wars by Jason Aaron. Dr. Aphra was one of those characters that immediately jumped out at you, and she definitely was a standout in that series. And that's not to say anything negative about the other stuff, because that material is great. The Star Wars by Star Wars Darth Vader, the Darth Vader series by Kieron Gillian is great, and so is Star Wars by Jason Aaron. Those are two of the best comics I've ever personally read, and that's what personally made me a fan of Star Wars, because before that I was a casual. And so while I watched a lot of the material, like I watched the original trilogy, I watched the prequels, I watched some of the cartoons growing up, and while I enjoyed them, I was always just a casual when it came to Star Wars. I was just considered myself a casual. Now, in reading the comics, I fell in love with Star Wars and want to get more into the universe and get more into the Star Wars, as a whole. And so I got some more catching up to do with a lot of the newer Star Wars stuff that's out, as far as the TV shows and the movies. But anyway, this is something that's been on my radar for a while now, and so I'm happy to have both volumes, Volume 1 and Volume 2 of Dr. Aphra, because like I said, this is a character I really enjoyed in those other comics, and so I'm excited to see how things go, or how her series is when she has her own solo series. And so I'm definitely excited to check that out. And then last but certainly not least is a book I've heard a lot of great things about, and I'm surprised this character got an ongoing, just because I'm not sure if this character has had an ongoing before. They may have had some miniseries or what have you, like some one-off, issues, like a 5-issue miniseries here and there, but I don't recall them having a full-on ongoing. But if I'm wrong on that, by all means, let me know in the comment section. But I heard a lot of great things about this series, and it has to do with Spider-Man. It's a Spider-Man-esque character, and I'm definitely excited to have it in the collection, because I heard it's an underrated gem, and I heard that it's great. But this is Black Cat by Jed MacKay Omnibus. This is all in here. This collects the entire series. So it started out in 2019, and then they renumbered it in 2020. It came out with a new series in 2020. So this collects both of the 2019 and 2020 series, along with some other stuff, some other materials, or what have you, whatever is connected to this. And I know this came out with this had two covers, of course. This had a standard edition cover and a direct market cover. This is the standard edition cover. This is by Pepe Larraz, and this was this was the cover that I personally chose, just because I just love this right here. You have Black Cat with all of the money, with bags of money behind her and some jewelry, and then you have cats on her, surrounding her. You have two black cats, and then the white one right above her. I don't know if y'all can see that right there. There it is. Y'all can see that right there. And this was the cover I had to pick. It's just absolutely beautiful and gorgeous. If they ever make a poster of this, I definitely would frame it on my wall, because it's great. But yeah, this is a series I heard was really good. A lot of people slept on this, and I just heard that from the people who have read this, that this is phenomenal. And if you haven't read it, you should definitely give this a chance. And this is one of the books that put Jed MacKay on the map for a lot of people, and he would go on to write a number of other series like Doctor Strange, Moon Knight. I believe he's currently writing the Avengers right now. I believe he has an Avengers ongoing right now. I'm not sure if he's writing any X-Men material, but I know that he's written those three things as well, which I believe his Avengers one is still ongoing. And so I might check that out at a later time. But yeah, man, definitely happy to have this bad boy in the collection, and can't wait to read it. I might read this next month, because I know that March is Women's History Month here in the States. So I might go ahead and that might be a good read for March in honor of Women's History Month. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. That's the haul. Not a super big haul, but still had a really good collection. Still had a really good number of books in there. And I can't wait to read all of those books and really fully dive into them. And like I said, be on the lookout for these books because I'll probably end up doing some reviews of these in the near future. And so definitely stick around for that. If there's any books in this haul that you had your eye on, if there's any books in this haul that you had your eye on, by all means leave it in the comment section below. Or if there's any books that you saw in the haul that you say, hey Clarence, I think that'd be a good I think that'd be a good review or something that I'd like to hear your opinion on, then by all means leave that in the comment section below. And if there's any books that you guys picked up as well, throughout the last few months, go ahead and leave that in the comment section below. Y'all are the best, and until next time, take care everybody, be safe, and have a good one.